The run the Ohio State Buckeyes went on was nothing short of magical. It was almost perfect football. It took the coaching staff a long time to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, but they did it at the right time, and it was beautiful to watch. The connection of Will Howard to Jerimiah Smith, passing to set up the run, being aggressive, we finally saw the offense reach that ceiling that everyone knew they could get to and was waiting patiently 13 weeks. There were a couple of games in the regular season that the Buckeyes played great in, but for the most part, they were reserved, they played laid back, they did not attack much through the air with their NFL talent, which was definitely frustrating to say the least, and it cost them a few big games, including against the team up north. But thanks to the expanded playoff format, they had a chip in a chair, and we all knew eventually the Buckeyes had to break through, especially with Ryan Day's job basically on the line, and boy oh boy did they break through, and they of course went on to win the national championship. But then almost immediately after, defensive coordinator Jim Knowles announced his departure to Penn State. This was kind of a shocking move that left a lot of people wondering what happened, but nonetheless, the Bucs and Ryan Day had a spot to fill. And then, as many people did kind of expect, Chip Kelly took a role back in the NFL with the Raiders. And offensive line coach Justin Fry, who faced a lot of criticism last season, also left to the NFL to go to Arizona with the Cardinals. So all of this left Ryan Day with a decision to make about the coaching staff. Should he keep all his hirings in-house and bring back some familiarity? I mean, they had Hartline, who is an elite recruiter, and a few other guys that were looking to move up in the ranks. Or Day could have went out and found new guys from the outside, or he could have done a little bit of both, which is what he ended up doing. Brian Hartline did get bumped up to become the new offensive coordinator. I was fine with that move. Actually, I love that move. And tight ends coach Keenan Bradley was bumped up to co-offensive coordinator. And then defensively, Day made a very bold move, hiring Matt Patricia to come in and be the new defensive coordinator. He, of course, has a long and remembered career in the NFL with the Patriots and then becoming a head coach for the Lions for a few years. And this move definitely came with its controversy because some people don't like the guy at all, but I personally think he is going to be just fine. He's going to be able to adapt, and he is going to have a ton of talent to work with. With the Buckeyes winning the national championship, especially in the fashion they did, that of course came with a lot of turnover in terms of the players as well, because it's almost like suffering from success. When you win, a lot of players are going to go to the NFL, or they are going to get heavy NIL offers from other schools looking to pluck them away. But I think the culture that Ohio State and Day built last season is going to be around for a long time, because a few players actually declined offers, opting to stay, saying they bleed scarlet and gray. And Jerimiah Smith, of course, has 2 years left in college, and he has already said that he has 2 more natties on his mind. But there will for sure, 100%, no doubt about it, be a change at the most important position behind center, because Will Howard is going to the NFL, and now Julian Sayin is set to take over quarterback duties. And I am so excited to see this guy play. It could not be him, but I think it's gonna be. He doesn't have as big of a frame as Howard, but I think he has even more upside. In 2023, he was the Gatorade California Player of the Year. He was named MVP of the Elite 11 Finals in advance of his senior season. He posted a 9-1 record at Carlsbad, missing 1 game due to injury. He threw for 2,347 yards with 24 touchdowns to go against just 1 interception. Insane, and he completed 158 of 212 passing attempts for 74.5%. And he also carried the ball 29 times for 186 yards and had 4 TDs rushing. And he led the Lancers to their 5th straight Avocado League title. The thing about Julian Sayin is that he's got a quiet confidence about him, and it's like the perfect balance. He has the arm talent to hit every blade of grass with excellent touch. Every time the football leaves his hand, it looks perfect. And like I said, a few people have knocked his size and have mentioned that he's working on adding weight, but is still too small, and his frame may not allow him to add too much more weight. But this shouldn't affect his production or his on-field ability, in my opinion, but it may make him more susceptible to injury. Anyways, moving on, now let's talk about some of the recruits, because the Buckeyes continue to recruit at an elite level. For the 2026 recruiting class, the Buckeyes currently have 5 commitments, 3 of whom are from Ohio. However, the focus has been on top in-state prospects choosing to leave. 4-star prospects Caden Gebhardt, Adam Guthrie, Victor Singleton, and Cam Thomas have all committed elsewhere, and 3-star offensive linemen Ben Cogden and Will Conroy are also headed to other programs. Sorry if I butchered one of those names. I'm not really well researched on those players or anything anything like that, but perhaps most concerning is that 5-star cornerback Elbert Hill did not include Ohio State in his initial list of official visits. So the new staff members will have their recruiting chops tested immediately. The Buckeyes will undoubtedly secure their share of blue chip talent, but the trend of in-state stars leaving remains a sour spot for this fan base. But I mean, I'm sure we will all get over it. I'm saying that as a Buckeyes fan myself, because a natty wipes away all the pain every time. Defensively, several former blue chip recruits will step into bigger roles, but the biggest name returning is safety Caleb Downs, who could be the best defender in the country. With plenty of new faces and moving parts, Ohio State's title defense will be tested early. The Buckeyes will get an immediate challenge with Texas coming to Columbus on August 30th, and I can't wait for that game. It's going to be electric. I love these week 1 matchups now with the new playoff format, because if you lose, your season's not over. It's just a good test to see where you're at right away, and if you lose, you can always rebound. It happened to the Buckeyes last year against Oregon when they lost on that crazy last play where Will Howard decided to slide as the clock was expiring, so they couldn't get a field goal off. Anyways, another group that I'm super excited about is the running backs, because we are about to see a complete overhaul and transition. Right now, the buzz around James Peoples is growing. He showed some of his potential last season in limited PT, putting up just under 200 yards with 2 touchdowns, but those numbers were mostly in garbage time. Though, so take them with a grain of salt. But his big moment came against the Rutgers, where he ran for 81 yards. Carlos Lachlan has made it clear to Peoples already that he is going to have to earn the starting job. Nothing is going to be handed to him, and I think he knows that, and he's ready to compete. And what an opportunity it is. Being the starting running back at the Horseshoe is something you dream about your whole life, and there have been some legendary players that did legendary things in scarlet and gray. I'm just going very recent, but you think of Zeke, you think of J.K. Dobbins, now Judkins and Henderson became legends, winning that national championship. There is so much opportunity and so much pride that comes with that role. Outside of Peoples, CJ Donaldson is a transfer with experience. He brings a different skill set and could push for a bigger role. Then there's Sam Williams-Dixon, who briefly considered transferring before being reassured that he'd get a fair shot at competing for the starting job. And then Bo Jackson, no, not Bo Jackson, is a 4-star recruit out of Cleveland who could turn this competition upside down. At 6 feet, 210 pounds, Jackson dominated high school defenses, rushing for 1,700 yards and 28 touchdowns in his junior year. He's got power, speed, and the kind of raw talent that could make him a legitimate threat to win the job as a freshman. This really isn't just about finding a guy who can run the ball, it's about making sure Ohio State's offense doesn't lose its rhythm. With a young quarterback room adjusting to life after Will Howard, having a reliable running back room will definitely be crucial. I can't stress that enough. And then in terms of defense, it's going to be tough to repeat the Buckeyes' #1 ranking to finish out the season, and they did lose players through the draft and in the portal, but one thing remains the same that I already mentioned. Caleb Downs is still in scarlet and gray, and he is so good. He's so generational that you can basically build your defense and your schemes around him. He's basically the Jerimiah Smith of the defense, and he is not even close to reaching his ceiling. He is most definitely a future top 10 draft pick, and I cannot wait to see what he does in year 2 in Columbus. All in all, the Buckeyes will most likely be starting out 2025 as the 1 seed, and they are going to be looking to pick things up right where they left off. I'm hoping that the offense is a little more aggressive. Obviously, a Michigan win has to happen. I can't take another Michigan loss for my mental health, but literally, if the offense is aggressive and attacks, this team could have a perfect season. I really do believe that. That's how much more talent they have than everyone else. But I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think. That's really all I have to say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed it and haven't yet, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And until next time, I will see you all later.